Hello, everybody. I'd like to welcome everybody to Blog Talk Radio, Vibe Time with Geri on Blog Talk. And of course, we have StreamYard too. So, people that are calling in, welcome to the show. People that are getting ready to come on the air because unfortunately, with StreamYard, we have to change everything to public because for some reason it doesn't do it like it's supposed to do. So let me go ahead and put that on the public feed so that people can tune in and ask their questions. There we go. And I have David Flowers, my co-host, which is right next to me. Say hello.
Hello. Hello.
And then I have the infamous John Stephens from Virginia Paranormal Events, where we're going to be talking paranormal events. That way. Hello, Shayla. Oh, she's watching Kentucky tonight.
All right, I'm gonna. Y'all hear me all right this time?
Hear you just fine.
You're at a little bit of a distance, though. Shayla, can you hear John Stephens just fine? Just as a test, 1, 2, 3. Shayla. We'll just start talking. Yeah, loud and clear. Okay.
So I don't have to scream?
I need you to scream. What'd you say?
Yeah, you gotta scream. You gotta scream for a full hour.
It's like the people I talk to on a daily basis. I have to scream into the phone.
You're so funny. All right, I think we got it all right. And I believe it will be. It should pick up on Vibe Radio or Blog Talk Radio as well. We'll find out. It's an experiment.
Yes.
Just to see if it works, because last week Paul Shields dropped the call on Blog Talk Radio, and then when I went and listened throughout the whole show, he was still on it. So I guess because this is the main switchboard right here, as far as the call-in part, we should be okay. But before we get started in Virginia Paranormal Events and what's going on, David, do you want to go over the raffle? Just to see if it works, because
we're holding a raffle. Got a basic ghost hunting kit with a voice recorder, a laser grid, a K2 meter, and a ghost box. Yeah, the SB7T ghost box. It's worth over $200. Doing the raffle for one ticket for $5, 3 tickets for $10, and then all the proceeds are going to either Wounded Warrior Project or going to Wounded Warrior Project and Tunnel to Tower. I'm going to split it in two, send half one way, half the other way. So we're going for veterans and first responders.
And that drawing is going to be held on Vibe Time.
Yep.
And you don't have to be present.
Yep. On Vibe Time on September 20th.
Yeah. John says he wants that kit.
Yeah, John doesn't have enough ghost hunting equipment.
Yeah, John doesn't have any. What's in the glass? What are you drinking?
Well, the typical stuff to get through this show. And as you can see, it's at the don't ask level.
Gotcha.
Don't ask, don't tell.
That's right.
All right, Shayla, you got it. Don't ask, don't tell. He's not telling you.
It is. I'll just say it's pretty smooth. So
is it from Kentucky?
It is. I don't know where Maker's Mark is from. Oops, am I supposed to say that?
It's moist. Gene Wells is on. He said it is moist. right.
All right. So,
Get right into our events.
okay. We'll talk about a little bit about what's coming up, and then we'll talk about what has taken
Hi, Ronnie.
place. And so, coming up this Saturday is an event at the Cabin on 360. And I think it is sold out. I saw Dennis the other night, and he said that they have a good crowd going to be there, and the money is going to I think it's going also to the Wounded Warriors Project, but I can't be positive about that. But it's whatever it is, it's a good cause. And Cabin on 360 is still open for business. So at least for the foreseeable future, the events will be taking place. And talking to Dennis, he said the next big thing, I guess, is going to be Halloween.
Yeah, that's more of a yeah, he's going to do, I think he's going to try to do some investigations and events, many investigations and events there. So he's going to keep us posted on that. He talked about that. Isn't Gettysburg Bash this week too?
It is, and
Okay.
a lot of Virginia people are going. A lot of Virginia teams will be going up there. Last year wasn't, from what I heard, wasn't that good. They were still kind of dealing with the COVID thing, but this year, I think literally everybody's going to be there, and
Gotcha.
which means just based on talking with people, they are super excited about going this year. And so that's the way the bash used to be. It used to be show up early and start the party, and then we have a big kind of paracon that takes place. But it's mostly a lot of teams from Virginia and up the East Coast, and some celebrity ghost hunters, and everybody in the paranormal world will be there. And it's a great location. And the thing is a lot of times people will tie in investigations around that time. So some of that's private, and some of that is I haven't heard of anything more. Gettysburg is, there's always something going on, but I haven't heard of any of these teams doing something like they come to the bash, and then Sunday night we're going to do an investigation. I haven't heard that, but that wouldn't surprise me.
Gene Wells said that the money for the Cabin on 360 is going to be going to flood victims and of Kentucky and to Southwest Virginia.
That's right. That's right. The flood victims. He and Dennis had told me that, so I knew it was for a good project.
Right.
And y'all are still doing, at least for now, still doing the Monday, Wednesday, Saturday thing at the Manor House. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're doing that. The 1st of September, we go to Mondays and Saturdays.
And so somebody asked me the other day, they were new to Virginia, and they were looking for places to go ghost hunting. And I just said, hey, there's stuff going on all the time, but if you want someplace that's pretty consistent and you can go to on any Saturday night, if that's what you can only do is on weekends, is go to the Manor House and at the Powhatan Plantation in Williamsburg. So I get a lot of that kind of thing, and people are looking for something, a little bit more consistent. They don't always have the $40 or $50, $60 it takes to do some of these investigations.
Yeah.
And some of them just want to do a ghost tour. So that's why Williamsburg, they have a lot of ghost tours that go on every night. And, our friend, Denny O'Rourke, he's got his thing there in Williamsburg, and then there's a couple of others that belong to this page, and they post their pictures every day, and it's like, wow, what a crowd! 20 or 30 people every night.
Mm-hmm.
And most of these people are from out of town. They're just on vacation and coming to Virginia, and here the Williamsburg is a great place to visit and a great place to take a ghost tour.
Oh yeah.
The thing is with Williamsburg is they always have a lot of, like, they encourage people to take pictures. This is all outside walking, take pictures of the windows and all that stuff. You'll be surprised how many good pictures that people get and actually capture stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because I saw one the other day that looked like the best way I could describe it, it looks like a mist, but it's in the shape of a person. And it's standing by a tree.
Where was this at?
In Williamsburg. I don't know what street it was on. I couldn't relate it because I didn't see any buildings that were around it, enough of them to be able to tell exactly where it was taken. But I thought it was taken during one of the tours, and they had gotten back, checked their pictures, sent it to. It might have been Denny who posted that, and it was.
I don't have access to his pages anymore, so but I might. I'm sure you could show it to me. That would be cool to see.
Yeah, I mean, if I could ever find it, but it was a great picture. And
hello, Kimberly.
But that's a great place to go for if you just want to do a ghost tour.
Was your picture?
No.
Nothing will ever be as good as John Stephens' picture.
No.
Nothing.
And I sit there and go, I don't know who took that picture, but that's the best picture I've ever seen. And, and I don't even, because it's not like I knew what the heck I was doing. That just shows you. But at that time, I guess the more pictures you take, the more chance you have of getting something. But
when you took that picture again, what camera were you using, John, when you took that?
I was not using my cell phone. I was using a Sony point and shoot. It's a little bit bigger than that because it has a zoom lens and everything on it.
Mm-hmm.
And with the SD card, I could fill it up, 1,000 pictures or whatever, and I did. But I would literally go and take that camera everywhere with me. And everywhere I went, especially on ghost tours and things like that, I would take so many pictures, it would take me hours to go through them.
Right.
And then frankly, I just got tired of doing that. You start buying other equipment and start spending your time looking at video and listening to audio instead of still pictures.
Yeah, I've been trying to figure out what kind of camera I want to get, and I still, because the one that I do have that's a point and shoot, it doesn't point and it just doesn't do well with what I'm trying to do. So that's why I asked you that question.
In fact, I've got it in my car. I always keep it with me.
Mm-hmm.
I like the camera. I just, I probably take more pictures with my cell phone now than I ever have. But that camera, I got reduced. I got it. It was refurbished. I got it off Best Buy.
Gotcha.
And I saw it, and it's at that time. Now it's about 10 years old. So at that time, it was about $300, and then I got it refurbished for about $125, which I thought was a great deal.
Yeah, that is.
I was really looking for. It still takes awesome pictures, even though the megapixels aren't what cameras are today.
Well, yeah, and I have a Kodak, but the Kodak I have the Kodak, but in the Kodak one that you sit on the dock, but that one dies too quick. I just, you know, am trying to figure out what camera to get.
I did a lot of research, and I still do on stuff, and I want to really get a nice camera. I mean, a really nice camera, and do more professional stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I would use it for ghost hunting. Um, I'm telling you, most of the time, most people capture stuff either with their cell phone or as a listening device and or as a camera.
Yeah.
Um, uh, I've seen recently a lot of things being published as far as new equipment that comes out, and which is exciting.
Mm-hmm.
I had a chance to sit down with. I'll backtrack. So I got invited to a birthday party. It was a birthday party for several people, including me, up to Tyler and Lana's. Excuse me, Lyle and Tana's house. There with
Mm-hmm.
Twisted Paranormal and Haunted Nights, and Dennis was there, and several people. Josh Bender was there. He's the guy that makes the Deadlight stuff, and he makes all that stuff. He's a great guy. He is world known. He ships that stuff all over the place. Um, he stands by his products that he sells, and he's got quite a niche. He supplies most of the paranormal teams with their equipment. It's unbelievable. Everybody's heard of Deadlight and stuff like that, and just talking with him about some of the stuff that he wants to do is really exciting.
Yeah, I think he started out in his garage and finally had to bite the bullet and get a real place, and that became a job for him.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
what a job doing
Yeah.
something you love.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
But he's got, he was telling me he's got 3D printers and stuff.
Yeah.
That's how he's doing this stuff, and that's how everybody does stuff these days. So
yeah, his stuff is really good. I just couldn't afford it.
but he stands behind it. So John Sullivan and really everybody I know has bought stuff from him, and I've even I've got a Deadlight as well, but I've also got a hat, and if I'd have known he was going to be there, I would have worn the hat to honor him.
Mm-hmm.
But we had a great time. John and Lynn Harris were there, and I will tell you this, that I had to leave somewhat early because I had another thing I had to be at 9:00, and this is 2 hours away, so I had to leave at 7. And the thing is they did this game after I left, and I will say that John Harris got the nickname The Finisher, and all you have to do is find somebody that has the video of that game that they were playing, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. But it is hysterical to watch that video if anybody has it out there. But it was really good to see everybody, talk to everybody. Talking with Lyle, they've got the Missouri State Pen event coming up with the Ray Chasers. The Ray Chasers asked them to help with that event, so they're going out to Missouri to put that event on, and that's quite a ways to go, and there probably be, I don't know how many Virginia people will actually go to that, but the Ray Chasers are pretty popular, so they get a crowd from wherever they go.
That's cool.
So there might be some events. I know in talking with people, that some places that have been kind of shut down and may not, they don't have really anything on the books, but I hear things are brewing. Henricus is going to probably have an event soon, and our place, Pamplin Park, some good news that they may be doing an event this fall, but I don't know that for sure yet. But that's going to, if it does, we'll promote that heavily.
Oh yeah,
because that'll be an event that everybody will want to go to.
it'll be my luck, and people will be out of town, or I told them as long as you don't schedule it on Oyster Fest weekend or when people are gone for conferences. Just saying.
Yeah. Well, got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. I told him to please avoid the Oyster Fest.
Well, I'll be at the Oyster Fest again this year.
Yeah, please avoid the Oyster Fest because, we can't get out of that. We're on lockdown. Someone should rent a bus trip and sell tickets for the weekend in bundles. Yeah. Melissa Groves, you asked if my aura was white now. No, it was earlier today. It was kind of between a black and white and just a hint of pink. It wasn't my normal rainbowy, beautiful aura that I normally present every day.
It's jet black.
Yeah, it was about that, yeah. So I'll have to fix that.
Y'all have to let me know who's in the chat and stuff.
Yeah, Melissa Grubbs, Ashley, Kimberly, Melissa Grubbs. Okay, good. If you see a white aura, perfect. Because I haven't. Katrina's in here. We've got, as far
Gene
as
Wells
in the chat, Gene Wells. Sometimes it's hard for us to see, just to let y'all know, because we're running 3 different streams. We're running a YouTube, My Wall, Vibe Time, and of course Blog Talk Studio, plus StreamTard. So we try to see everybody's comments. We try to see everybody that's like calling in, or which looks like we just dropped a caller, but we see, we try to keep track of everything. So sometimes it's hard because all the comments get jumbled up. So if we miss somebody or miss an acknowledgement, we don't do it on purpose. I just want people to know that, because I know some people get really upset when they're not acknowledged, and trust me, it's not done on purpose. We try to see everything, and it's really, really hard to because when we go up on it shows a little eye, of course, on Facebook, but it doesn't show. It only shows a certain amount of people. So I don't know. It messes up sometimes. Just to get that out the way.
Yeah, just get that out of the way. I don't know how you keep it all straight. I'm sitting here trying to read some of the comments now.
I have a co-host that keeps it all straight for me now, so I don't have to. And
You're
then
okay.
because I sit over here and do right, I can't hear anything. Turn the volume. I mean, your volume's up, my volume's up. Can y'all hear us okay? Because I got one person that can't hear us.
Hey, Ryder, can you hear me? That's my sister. Hello. She probably got her volume turned off.
Is Melissa saying that we have the aura around us?
No, she's talking about me.
Oh, okay.
She ain't talking about you.
But she says the guys have a bluish gray aura. Well, I'll tell you why mine is bluish gray, because I'm painting right now, and the room I'm painting is bluish gray. So I literally have paint everywhere.
All right, so y'all can hear okay? All right.
Yeah.
You can't mute her, right?
No, I didn't.
You better
not this time.
Hi, John Sullivan.
All right,
so
now we're getting the guys in here.
Your fan club is coming on, John Stephens. Let's go.
Right.
Let's put that drink down and let's chop.
All right, so let's go back a few weeks and we'll talk about St. Albans. And and what we experienced there. So went with John Sullivan and Shayla and Robbie and Culpeper Paranormal. So, you know, it was Kim and Paul and his wife. So it was 6 of us. I think I might be missing somebody. I don't know. But so we had the whole place, 100,000 square feet place. You know, it's a large place. Anybody that's been to St. Albans, I've been twice now. It's going to be kind of a yearly event for me to go there. I think it's historically one of the most haunted places that you'll ever go. But people experience different things, and I've experienced my own share of stuff in just a short time I've been there. So, but the very first thing that I experienced is we had gone down to the boiler room for the first time. That's down there next to the bowling alley, which is down in the basement. And I was the first one into the room. I guess I was in the room for about 30 seconds before anybody else. It's pitch black, dark. But I had my light on my phone. And I know the boiler room, so I just, came in there and I was shining my light. And off to my left, the left part of the room, as I entered the room, I saw a figure, but it was more the face. And it backed out into the darkness. So I saw it for about a second, and before it disappeared and went away. It was a bearded gentleman, about 6 foot tall. And he saw me and looked right at me, and then he backed into the shadow.
And that's unusual for you because you don't normally see shit.
Right. Even though...
Just being honest.
Yeah. I mean, I know some people that say they see stuff all the time, and I'm like, okay, well, if you're going to see something like that, I'm sure it's going to be at a place like that, right? So, but I wasn't expecting to do that. It kind of caught me by surprise. In fact, when the others came in, they were right behind me, but I was there about 30 seconds before they were. And so when they finally came into the room, I was still looking for what I had seen. So I was over in that corner looking. And I was like, did I just see what I think I saw? I'm trying to comprehend what I'm seeing or what I saw for a split second. So no more than a second. As I shone the light, saw it, it disappeared because it backed away as fast as I saw it. Went back over there, nothing's there. So the next time I go back down to the boiler room was a few hours later. I asked about the gentleman that was down there, and I got hits on my K2 meter and stuff like that. So almost in response, that was an experience there. John Sullivan and I got some great responses up in the women's ward, up in the
I bet you
the upstairs.
I bet you did. You didn't bring your pole up there, did you, you hooker?
You walked into that one. You walked into that one, John.
I didn't walk into the pole this time.
I am gonna say, with you seeing this apparition, what you saw, welcome to my world every day.
Yeah.
Every day. Welcome to it.
If I see that any longer than what I did, I'm running. I'm running out of there.
Yeah. Welcome to my world. You see them, they see you, and they go, poof. You saw me, bitch. Bye.
It was sort of like when I was down in the basement of the rancher when I had the shadow figure. You're not expecting it, so It's not like looking for it. It's going to happen. No, I'm just totally taken off guard by this thing that slides by me at a super rate of speed. That's from the floor to the ceiling tall.
Yeah.
Had no figure. It was just a black mass that just
Yeah.
goes by me so fast.
What about the time it ran its finger up our necks?
Oh my gosh.
John, it's time for us to go now.
Yeah. I mean, it pulled on my hoodie to, you know, I had a hoodie on, and
Hi.
and then all of a sudden it just, you know, jerked my head back.
Yeah. Yep.
When it pulled on it. That was right after it had run your finger, you know, its fingers up your neck, and then we got out of there pretty soon. You know, a lot of things have happened at the Brick Rancher. One of the times I was up there, and I was upstairs in one of the rooms that people don't never go into. It's the room on the other side of the kitchen. I don't know what that room is. I think it's got a fireplace or something.
That little family type den like room.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we were in there, and we were the only ones in the house. No one in the basement, nobody in the other room. Everybody else had left, and it's four of us, and we heard we all heard the door, what sounded like somebody coming up that ramp.
Mm-hmm.
And then we heard the door squeak, and then we heard walking. And then I said, so that must be Dennis or somebody coming to check on us. And we all got up and looked, and there's nobody there. The door's shut. There's nobody there. Yeah. And that was as sure thing as I thought I was going to see a living human being, and one was not there.
Yeah, yeah.
Because everybody heard that sound, and the walking across the floor was pretty impressive. You could hear it, and you thought somebody was out there, and there was nobody.
Ronnie.
It's like, wow.
Yeah, you never know what happens out there.
Yeah, we're gonna have to go out there because I haven't been out there yet.
It's perfect for you, Mr. Open-minded skeptic, metaphysical fairy bouncer person in training thingy.
Is David talking about the rancher?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder how he would do in the Pearl. Oh my God. I mean, you know.
All right. We don't have a pole that you can dance with.
We got a lamp.
But we got a lamp.
We got a lamp that John Stephens loves, absolutely loves.
But what we
bring dollar bills too.
Yes, what we do, and you know, and I'm not the ringleader of all this crap.
I ain't either.
Sav Spooks, you need to have her there because she will do what it takes to get things going.
Yeah,
whether it be the twerking or the throwing the money down on the floor, and then suddenly things just start happening. And with the pink pearl upstairs, it's I will say that it's anything goes. You say it, you want to do it, you want to say something, whatever it is. Believe me.
What happens at the Pearl stays at the Pearl?
Yes.
Yes. So for people that have not heard the story, if there's any person out there that hasn't heard the story, we put this experiment on, and it was, we were going to get reactions because, you know, the more that you're maybe, so we'll use sex as a trigger object. And so I forgot whose idea it was. It's like, hey, why don't the guys all leave? And the girls that are up there, it was Tina and Geri and Sav Spooks and Melissa might have been up there. I can't remember who else. It was about 5 or 6 people.
Mm-hmm.
There's me and Sullivan, and
It was Sherry.
that's right. Oh yes,
Hooker
how can we
Sherry.
forget?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
And she got right into it. I'm telling you. And so all the guys went downstairs. We'll be back in 5 minutes. Y'all ask a bunch of questions, then we'll come back. And of course, we could go down and we could watch the video of the girls in the room and see and all we could see was them cutting up and laughing and carrying on. And then when we come back up after 5 minutes, we find out all the stuff that had been, all the stuff that was being said and done. And it doesn't take much for me to turn red, but I was even shaking my head. I was like, oh my gosh, guys can't be as nasty as girls. There's no way.
I agree.
Girls, they don't have a filter when it comes to that stuff. And they saying stuff. And the more we talk, and the worse it got as far as the conversation, the more activities going on.
They got bored. They got bored with I named it the Pearl. I know I named it the Pink Pearl.
You know why we named it the Pink Pearl?
Yes. Can I keep that on the DL, or are you going to spill how we?
I will say
it. John is just gonna. Yeah, it was getting a little crazy, but they got tired of the same boring ass questions of what's your favorite color, how old are you, what time period are you from? They got tired of that shit. So we decided to turn it into something different, as far as because of what at one point it was known for. So it was a really good investigation. And John Sullivan, you have to admit that we got some good stuff there and a good flashlight session. And we can't help it that we're more dirty minded than y'all are when it comes to stuff like that. We even got a good EVP with it wanting to pick out its own toy.
So the Pink Pearl is the name of a toy, because we were thinking about how are we going to put one of those swings up there and a pole and whatever else that will encourage that type of thing, and talking about maybe charging a different admission. You can come and investigate the rancher and the cabin on 360, but there's an additional charge if you want to go up to the 18 and above Pink Pearl, and all we could picture was there'd be a line up the steps waiting to get in with a bouncer, to be able to ghost hunt in that place.
So yeah, supposedly the story, some of the backstory for those of you who don't know, is at one time it was like a woman's salon, and then upstairs it was a brothel where men serviced the women. It was reversed. So
how do I get that job?
That is how all that came about, as far as how all that came about.
Well, Geri,
that hooker side came out. Yes, it did. Oh yeah.
She kind of opened it up, and she said something about, and I won't say it here, but it was something sexual towards other women. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, oh yeah,
and we got it documented too. It's all videoed, because remember, this was all videoed. This was all on all on a live feed, if I remember correctly. They were recording this our session, our very first session with the Pearl, because we were all upstairs, and then we switched places. We were doing the experiment to see who can get more EVP or more activity, and we got more activity.
Yeah, the females. I mean, the stuff that they were saying was
y'all like, lost.
I can't even think of that type of stuff, and they were.
Mm-hmm. I don't even know if Kimberly was at the very first one of those. I can't remember.
Yeah, Kimberly just said her ass was over at the rancher downstairs.
Yeah, because I'll have to go back and look at some of the memory footage of the Pearl, because I really honestly can't remember. But it's on a live feed somewhere.
But it's all about energy. So anytime you do an investigation, I don't care where you're at.
Yeah.
You bring the right energy into a place. You bring energy into a right place. I don't care if it's all right. Mm-hmm. So if you're going into the basement at the Brick Rancher, and a lot of people get intimidated as soon as they walk down the steps. They're expecting the demon to possess them and all this stuff. But I've had other people come down there with more of a joking persona and stuff like that, and they've gotten just as many responses, with things lighting up and things going off, and other places I've investigated, it's like you enter the room with energy.
Yeah, you
come and and it doesn't have to be with asking questions. Right. We've at the Manor House. So I've got an EVP at the Manor House between us two, and I forgot who else was there. It was the three of us, but I think there was a fourth person. But anyway, Geri had left the room. We were upstairs in the room opposite of, I call it the round table room. That's the room we were in. Mm-hmm. And we had our equipment set up, and we're just sitting around shooting the bull. We're just, talking about this and that. And Geri gets up because she had been talking, and she says something like, "Hey, I'm going to go check this." And you can hear her voice kind of walking out of the room, and she goes into the room next door. And whoever was left, it was me, David, and I don't know who else was there. But we're talking, and there is a female voice that is participating in the conversation. Now, I didn't catch that at first because I thought it was Geri, but then I'm like, no, Jerry's done left the room. This voice is participating. So it's,
hey, John.
It's we weren't in a serious, what is your name? What is where did you die in this house? It wasn't none of that. It was a lot of joking.
I think it's the mindset. I think it's your mindset when you're going into places. You got to have a pretty good mindset. And not only that, the energy that you're putting off too when you're doing stuff, because it just to me it plays a big difference in investigating.
And always have your recorder going.
Yeah.
Because if I hadn't, because I said it. I started when we do a burst session, let's say. But this, I was just running it. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that's good and sometimes it's not good. The reason I don't like to do it all the time is because who wants to sit and try to listen to a 55-minute audio? One audio, that's a pretty large file to have to sit and listen. And the reason you do burst sessions is because they're quick. I can listen to a 2 or 3 minute session at a time. But if you, with the body cam and the cam, those things going on all the time, you catch some of the best stuff because you're not expecting it, and it's off guard. It's not, you don't even know that you've captured anything. With y'all capturing stuff during your tours and stuff like that, when you're not trying to communicate or asking questions of a spirit or whatever's in the room, but yet you're getting responses you didn't even know.
Right, right.
We were David, Geri, and I were, and I forgot who else was there. We were in,
Yeah.
as part of the tour, and David's doing his presentation, and then right in the middle of the thing, and Geri caught this. She there's a voice, and it's like a sentence almost. Several words of a person that wasn't even there, and you could easily say, well, that wasn't. When you didn't hear it live, but when you go back and listen to that, and you got a response.
Yeah, I remember that particular EVP. We've got it documented somewhere. That's something that he's going to go through and kind of look at different stuff that we documented.
I love that. Right.
I mean, they do talk while you're talking, which is really funny. It's almost like when you're looking for it, you don't get it, and then when you don't look for it, you get it.
Yeah, a lot of the best EVPs that we have is when we weren't trying to get it.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, and the same thing with the dowsing rods. Y'all get a lot of good stuff, and teaching people about dowsing rods is part of your tour, and selling the dowsing rods is even great because you just can't go anywhere and buy those things. And I'm glad y'all sell them, because I've had people come up to me and say that, I got some when I was at the Manor House, and I know like Ronnie and Shayla use them when they're investigating. They love using them.
Yeah, David doesn't know he's making dowsing rods for me over the winter time so that I could sell them in my practice over here. I just didn't tell him that part yet.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. You know now.
I know now.
Yeah, he has to stock up for the winter because they sell out really quickly.
Yeah, they do.
So, and I'm going to pre-buy them from you anyway.
And the shameless plug.
Yeah. we have to keep the book next to us.
We do. You see, I picked this one up at a backyard sale. So anybody that knows Troy Taylor, he's a great author. He's written a lot of books.
Yeah, but there's nothing like this one.
I know about the paranormal. Troy Taylor's not from Virginia.
And there's going to be a part 2. There will be a part 2.
David will be great when part 2 comes out, because it took him literally like 32 years to write the first one.
There will be a part 2 to Welcome to the World of Paranormal Investigations Part 2.
Okay.
I can.
Just saying. My little third eye has showed me that there will be a part 2.
I guess you're going to be giving all the tours while I'm sitting in the back, right?
Exactly.
Chapter 1 is, what the heck is a third eye?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I keep telling people he's going to be famous and they need to buy the book. Yeah. Autographed.
Yeah, chapter 1. If somebody tell you they've seen something through the third eye, run.
You're fired.
I've dated some girls that I thought had a third eye, but
beat your ass down. Stevens.
And 6 toes.
You're fired, both of y'all. You non-metaphysical people.
Hey, I'm trying to develop that side of me.
I'm not trying, it just happened. forcing it down me.
That's right. You know, we were going to talk about remote viewing.
Oh
We
yeah,
have-
you got exactly 9 minutes to talk about remote viewing. My time freaking flies.
No, wait a minute. Why do we have to get off? Because what's his name is not on tonight.
I know. I can do a little bit over, but I have something I've got to do.
Oh, so it's you that's going to nix it.
Well,
You got to eat
I got
those
this-
crabs.
I got the switchboard. Remote viewing, John. Remote
okay.
viewing.
All right.
Are y'all up for remote viewing? This is something that John wants to discuss.
So it is a new topic that I've come enamored with, and the only reason is because, and we talked about it a little bit last week with Dennis. There's a movie called Third Eye Spies that's on YouTube. You can go watch it. Developed by the government because they found out that the Russians during the Cold War were spying on us using people with.
Yep. Anything John wants to talk about.
Yeah, we're just going to translate, transition over into another subject. And so the.
All right, but wait a minute. You got all the paranormal events that you wanted to talk about covered, right?
I can't think of anything else.
Okay, well then let's just go into remote viewing. Y'all go to Virginia Paranormal Events on his Facebook, or for those of you who do not have access to Facebook, because I have a few callers, it's www.virginiaparanormalevents.com is where John Stephens puts a lot of his. He has a friend that takes care of that part of his website, right?
Yes.
Can you please announce him if you don't
yeah.
mind before we get into remote viewing?
Yeah, Jeff Watts. He's from Virginia and he lives in Ohio, and so he comes to Virginia occasionally, and he was just there a couple of weeks ago. And we went on vacation together, and every time he comes into town, we try to get together, and so we always try to do something paranormal too, because he doesn't get a chance to do that kind of stuff back home.
Yeah.
And so, and he's also real big now into remote viewing as well. So he's the one that told me about Third Eye Spies and watching that movie. And so with the Russians, we found out the Russians were spying on us using mediums and sensitives and psychics and everything else. And we thought we ought to try to look into that ourselves. And we had a psychic, a real famous one that was had a pretty good track record for accuracy. And then we got some other people involved. And I'm really just flying through a bunch of years here, but basically what the U.S. government started putting money into this without people knowing about it. And they were developing it so that to see if there was anything to it. And so, but also it developed in what we need to do is to be able to if something happens to our psychic spies and stuff like that, can we train a normal person, somebody like me, to be able to do?
You're normal? As
you
far as
said
I'm
that.
concerned, you're like one of the biggest hoes we know. I'm just saying.
All right, so
I'm putting it out there. Okay. I'm going to shut up. I'm just going to shut up. And I haven't even drank anything, John.
is your sister on tonight?
She is on the switchboard. She can't get on Facebook. She can't get on because her internet is shitty. So she calls.
No matter where she lives, she has no internet.
I know. She has none. But no, she is not on here. She's on Blog Talk tuning in.
I miss Tina.
Go
Mine's
see
on
her.
here.
Shit. She'll be at the cabin on the 20th, I think.
All right.
You
So,
can go to her house anytime. I'm sure she won't care. Just let her know.
all
All right.
as far as so they developed a series of steps that to teach remote viewing. And so with there's steps that you got to take. This is what they were teaching. And they were also it's explaining what remote viewing is. So basically what they kind of described it is there is a wave or a river of knowledge that all knowledge is in, and that we all have access to that. We just have to have a way of tapping into it. And I know it sounds crazy. However, there's a difference between your conscious mind and your subconscious. I'm getting into the remote viewing now. So you have to be able to control your conscious mind. So there are exercises that they teach, that they taught people how to control their conscious mind, because the conscious mind always wants to take over. And the subconscious is over here experiencing stuff, but the conscious mind says whatever pops into its brain is what they're saying. And so there are techniques that you can control your conscious mind to let your subconscious, who's got the key to all the information. Now, I know this sounds crazy, and I thought it was crazy too, until I saw it actually perform. And that people, and like I said, this has taken years to develop. So they teach you techniques as far as remote viewing goes. We're not talking. I'm going to leave out psychics and mediums and people that already have maybe that intuitive.
Yeah, leave it out. Yeah.
Okay. Because those people have an advantage, and a lot of times they don't have to go through a lot of steps. But the whole thing is you want to be able to trust. You got to have a track record. You got to have feedback to know whether or not you were right or wrong. And so there are, after practice and practice and practice and practice and finding out whether or not you are hitting on any of this, there are remote viewers out there that are used by police to find missing people, to solve crimes and things like that. And they don't, and this is not publicized. There are examples, you'll see it in Third Eye Spies, if you ever watch that movie, where they had people remote viewing and actually going to the Kremlin, seeing inside of a safe, looking at papers and describing what was on those papers, coming back, and with because those people had a positive track record, they could believe it. They found a nuclear site in the, I'm gonna just say Antarctica or something like that, that they didn't know that existed, that the Russians had built, and they were able to find that and see it in detail and describe it in detail. They found a nuclear sub that the Russians were building, were able to describe it in detail. And it sort of reminded me of the movie Hunt for Red October, when they had the picture of the sub that they were trying to figure out. But that was kind of what the remote viewing was doing. So today, can people actually use remote viewing to find lost keys? How about the lottery? So there are people, and one of the ladies that I've listened to, who's written a book, she talks about people that have actually, she knows for a fact, have won the lottery due to remote viewing. However, they do not ever say that they did it because of remote viewing, because if they did, the credibility, would be.
Well, there was one guy that won the lottery, and he said that when they asked him how did he pick the numbers, he said they were shown to him.
Yeah, so how our numbers, and I'll just give it a quick example. This is just to make it easy. So let's just say this is how they kind of do it. So let's say your number one, the number one is broccoli. Number two is spaghetti. Number three is pizza. Number four is salmon. Number five is chicken tenders. Okay. And that's just 5 numbers. You could do that all the way through to 10.
Mm-hmm.
And you start doing the getting involved in the remote viewing, and you start having these flavors come. So this is and I'm making this very as kindergarten as I can. But these people have actually, in using like food as a way of picking numbers, they get the sense that they're smelling spaghetti or something like that, and that therefore it has to be the letter 4 or something like that, or the number 4. And so they're able to put these numbers together. So they took this as an example. They took a pick 3, and the person that had never remote viewed before, and they taught them certain techniques, was able to pick 2 of the pick 3. 2 numbers almost immediately without hardly any practice. That was pretty impressive. So it's just an exciting thing to like delve into, to know that people are using this for a lot of good things. Like, because I don't really think that people would. You're not supposed to get into it for like monetary reasons. This is when your conscious and your subconscious starts to battle.
Shit, when it comes to the lottery, my subconscious and conscious ain't gonna be battling shit.
Right. Well, there is a part that
I'm on a mission.
That
John Stephens.
There are people there are remote viewing teams. That's all they do is find missing people. That's their whole purpose. And they are really good. And so that's my little spill on remote viewing. There are some good books. There's a lot of YouTube videos that you can look at. You do not have to be a psychic.
No, you don't. Same thing with third eye work and stuff like that. You really don't. I think Kimberly made a good point when she said that anybody can do it. They're all capable, but people aren't willing because it takes you have to do it every day. It's not something that you pick up one day and then a week later and you know what I'm saying, pick it up one day and then put it down tomorrow. Pick it up one day. It doesn't work like that. Like with my Reiki and energy work, it's done every single day. Something energy work related or Reiki related is done every day. The learning doesn't stop it. I think where people mess up at is they get frustrated because it doesn't come quick enough for them. And then they get mad and then they're like, well, fuck it, I ain't doing it. Just because I can look in my third eye and I can't see anything right now. Well, a lot of what your diet is calcifies that, and that's why you can't. And it takes about a good 10 to 15 minutes focusing here, just focusing. And then you start to see a whole IMAX theater and you're like, wow. And when I get there, I like to stay there. And, you know, but who is going to be patient enough to do that for, you know what I mean? 10 to 15 minutes to just sit there quietly and focus here into here. Not too many people, because your mind says, well, just open up your eyes, you know, it's open. And then you open up your eyes and then you lose your concentration.
Yeah, there are a lot of people that are learning remote viewing, but there are people that have been doing this for years, and it's practice. It's feedback.
Yeah.
You're getting, and then you can become a world-class remote viewer. That means that you have a lot of feedback on things that you have done, and it's a pretty impressive percentage. Um, Lori Williams, who's a big remote viewer and who's written books, says that she has people that she has taught that has gone on to be world-class remote viewers that have about a 75% accuracy rate. Now, I know that doesn't sound that, hey,
That's pretty high.
that is really good.
Yeah, that is pretty high compared to, that's a pretty high number.
On some of those world-class remote viewers, this is where it gets crazy. Because they have such a good track record here, they are remote viewing things in outer space.
Yeah.
Finding
remote viewing stuff in the future.
Finding planets. Yes, that's right. So there's no time. So
Right.
there's
That's what's so beautiful with remote viewing.
There's things in the past and there's things in the
Yeah.
future. And I think with the practice, people figure out what they're able to do. And I'll just stop on this point about remote viewing. Is there was a guy that he learned a remote viewing. He had done that. His target that he was presented with, he didn't know what it was, as most remote viewers are given a target, and what he described was these rings around Jupiter, I believe, and they thought he was crazy for saying what he did, because he said he described them detailed and described what they were made of.
Yeah, I think I saw something that.
In detail. I mean, like, I don't even know some of the materials that he was mentioning, and the size and everything, just in detail.
And people thought he was crazy.
They did. They thought he was crazy. And then when they finally find out, he was like dead on accurate. And they asked him how he did that. He said, it's just a matter of, he had gotten, and he could see it. He could experience it. He knew exactly what it was. But he had no way of proving it at the time that what he was seeing was true. Later on, it was discovered that it was true. Same thing with them finding people that are missing. There was one case where the person said that they saw, and they described in detail a field with something red and a person, and it was like a person with a scrubbly face and a trailer. And the more they remote viewed about it and everything, they found out that the person of interest lived in a trailer. And then they found out later that the girl had actually worn a red sweater or something that day. The girl that is missing, he described where she was buried. And no one knew at the time. I mean, no one knew what he was talking about when he was describing all this. And they go right there and they find it. There's no way he knew all that.
Right.
So those are things that are kind of open your eyes, especially when they talked about people being able to learn how to do it that don't have any psychic ability. We all have some sort of psychic ability. Hence, you would not get scared, or your hair and your arms wouldn't stand up when you enter a place, or that you wouldn't feel a cold chill go down your spine. We've all kind of had those experiences.
Right.
When we go into places and we know and we sense something, if you don't, and you've been investigating for a while, I'll say this. If you've been investigating for a while, the next time you go investigating and you go into a room, don't say anything. Just listen to what your body is saying.
Mm-hmm.
Just say, what do I feel? do I feel something? Do I not feel anything? Do I feel like the energy is good? Do I feel like the energy is bad? Maybe there's no. I've gone into places and said, this is really a depressing place. I don't know why it's so depressing.
Right.
I
Right.
mean,
Yeah.
It doesn't look depressing. It just feels depressing.
Mm-hmm.
What has happened here? Why am I feeling like that?
Right. Right.
There's a reason why I'm feeling like that. My body, my senses are picking up on those kind of things.
Right. That's true. Well, I think that we've had a good show. As usual, I appreciate you coming on.
Can't wait for the next time.
I know. I'm sure you'll have more experiences then.
Always looking forward to those shows.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna try to swing by the cabin this weekend.
Okay.
And just see who's there and say hi to everybody that you just don't get a chance to see on a regular basis. And those that come, maybe I'll see you up in the Pink Pearl.
Yep. Yep. And next week on the show, we have Holly Mullins and Tracy Ann. They're going to be talking spiritual talk next week. So thank you, Tiki. I appreciate that. We're going to have that. That's a 2-hour show, you guys. So just keep that in mind. That starts at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So Holly Mullins, she's a psychic medium, and she's going to be coming on and talking about spiritual talk. And then that's our normal once every other month show. And then, like I said, Tracy Ann will be joining us with that as well. And she's out of Illinois. So it's going to be a really cool show. Starts at 8, and then we'll mesh in with Ryan's show next week. So I appreciate everybody's support and y'all coming in. And
yeah, it was a great show. A lot of good to see so many of the family in tonight.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The people that we just all love. I even like seeing Tiki in there, and can't wait to see her at the Manor House again. And
yeah. So y'all have
all of our
all right, you guys, I'm going to end the broadcast and end the live. Y'all, thanks for tuning into Blog Talk Radio. I've had people on the switchboard there, and then also thanks to everybody that tuned in on Vibe Time with Geri, Virginia Paranormal Occurrence co-op page that got shared out, because I know David Flowers shares his stuff out, and John Stephens, I know you share your stuff out too. We really appreciate it. Any support is great. So, y'all.
Yeah, I love doing it. And I will say this: if you have a team or something that you want me to share, message me. I'll get it out there.
Mm-hmm.
I have people do stuff all the time. I may not know them, so I'm a little hesitant. I have people telling me all the time. It's like, hey, I've got a bunch of stuff I want to sell. I don't do that kind of thing because I don't know people, and I don't want people. I don't want people to be taken advantage of. I will only promote events. I'll only promote people in events and places that I know that it's on the up and up.
Yeah.
And if I get to know you and stuff like that, and that's something we can do. But people are always trying to get me to put hey, I'm trying to sell this recorder. I'm like, I'm not Facebook Marketplace.
Right.
I don't want someone to say, hey, I bought something from one of your people and they've taken my money.
Yep.
We've had that happen with some events.
Right.
And they put on fake events and people have given money and never seen their money again. So that's why it's real important that every event that this page promotes is by people I know and people and with places.
Yes, he is. He's a pain in the ass, but yeah, he's a great guy. He sure is. I've known him long enough I can say that. We go back, way back before he even met you. Mommy. We go back to golf cart parades and bike riding days. We're good.
I forgot about our bike riding days.
Yeah, I didn't. Bike riding with Donna, who decided to bike ride us 24,000 fucking miles. Oh my God, she about killed us. His sister almost killed us. Are you tired? We can go another few miles. I'm like, hell no, I can't.
Wish I had time to ride a bike these days.
Yeah. She's a trip. I miss Donna though. I miss Donna not being in town.
Well, it's good seeing y'all again.
Nice seeing you.
And
Nice seeing you.
I hope to see everybody. Hope to see everybody real soon. I'm gonna try to make my way around to places and get out and do more stuff. So,
All righty.
but it was what a great crowd we had tonight on
Yeah.
here. I was looking at some of the names
We
popping
did.
up and Kimberly and Ronnie and
Yeah.
Shayla and John and Katrina.
Yeah, we got quite a few. We're still on live, but I'm going to end the broadcast. I'm going to end everything because I've got to get off, unfortunately.
Okay.
All right. So
All right.
I'm going to end my call.
All right. We'll see y'all.
All right. Thanks, Blog
Adios.
Talk
All
people.
right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Right.
I'm dropping that one. Oops. Let me see if it'll let me up in that. Yeah. Forget Ryan's not on here. Live.